the model of dependent arising that I find valuable has no need whatsoever for bhava. It's not just not necessary. I'm yet to be persuaded that it's necessary.
I'm not sure that we can canonize that.
To me, this is an interesting point, because I think what I am looking for is a model of dependent arising that you can present and explicate for people who don't need to then go into all of this business about interpreting suttas. It's a very rigorous model, I feel. But once you bring bhava into it, you have to get into an interpretive mode. And I just don't find, I think it's very interesting what you say, and I believe it, but I don't think it's got much to do with this.
That you find that, this may be just how different minds work, because you feel that that's a movement into an interpretive mode. Whereas what I hear Kinchana saying, it's very experiential. Mm-hmm. It's very experientially lived. So is it just possible that minds work differently in how they embrace these things?
Yes, that is undoubtedly the case. We're seeing it in action right this minute.
Yes.
So that's great. That's healthy. But that doesn't mean...
It doesn't mean that you're convinced.
No, but it also... No, I come back to what I said before. I would like to find a way of presenting this material in a way that's not trapped in these ancient models. But
I understand. I love some sort of Buddhism that would fit on an A4 page, with an X and a Y axis and with consistent axiomatic patterns that I could apply and just hand out at the end of the course and say, look, if you get lost, here is the map. But that's not how it works, is it?
But the point is, aren't we always involved in interpretation, Stephen?
yeah,
in the way that we put it together, we're always involved in some degree of interpretation, whether it's textual interpretation, it's interpretation of the doctrines which are put forward. We're always engaged in interpretation, and we can't do anything otherwise. So to talk about giving a non-interpretive model,
I think it's a question of degree. I agree with you. Yeah.
And I also think that what we're trying to do in this course is actually to find exactly what you're speaking of, which is a model of dependent arising, which is relevant to someone who doesn't have a huge canonical background. And we're telling them they don't need to have a huge canonical background, that all they need to have is a mind and a body, and they can understand this.